Dharma friends. We are going to begin this evening 1 hour and 15 minutes maximum discussion on different subjects matters based on discourses. You are warmly welcome for today's Sutta Studies. Those friends who join here at the temple and also friends who join with me through Zoom, you all can benefit from this discussion because what we are discussing is the important elements, factors, noble qualities that we should develop in meditation, so that having heard, you all can improve your meditation on daily basis and make your progress and the spiritual path strong. Let me begin the session by paying homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. And I wish may you all listen mindfully and understand the meaning of the listening in a wisely, and would be able to develop your qualities further to feel happiness and peace. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends, in today's class, we take a particular discourse from the Buddha that talks about the grounds for freedom. This particular sermon is called Vimuttayatana Sutta in Pali. When it comes to translation, it's called grounds for freedom. It's called ways of freedom. When we talk about freedom, Vimukti, Pali word or Sanskrit word for this is Vimutti. It talks about how to how to liberate from the clutches of craving, greed, hatred, and ignorance. And it also talk about the quality of liberation. What kind of things you feel when you liberate yourself. So that is important because for example, when we go somewhere, we should know where we go. Then only we can go to the destination we think of. Likewise, both all the time we have to know what exactly we practice and why we practice and what we get out of this practice. So this sutta is really important in that regard, because a lot of people who meditate for a long time and who haven't gone through many theoretical aspect of the teaching may think that the nibbana, the enlightenment in Buddhism is some sort of another birth of somewhere, another existence. But this tells us that it could be reached by different ways. So there are different avenues. For example, if you go to the river or the ocean, there would be many places to get into the water. Not one place, but there are many. Likewise, to reach to happiness, you will have different avenues, depending on the character, depending on the nature of behavior. People have different taste, so that the way people reach to utter peace and happiness called enlightenment would be different. So let's discuss this important discourse. This Vimuttayatana Sutta. Sutta is a Pali word for discourse. So Vimutta Vimukti is liberation, Ayatana means ground or ways, and Sutta means discourse. This sutta is recorded in the numerical discourses, and the section is 5 because this sutta talks about 5 factors, 5 ways or 5 ground for freedom. So that is recorded in numerical discourses, section number 5, and the sutta number is 26. I will read the discourse first and then come to the discussion so that you know what exactly we have to think about. The Buddha was living at the Chetanarama monastery in Savatthi today when this discussion happened between the Buddha and the monks. The Buddha said, bhikkhus. Bhikkhu is a word for monks. Monks, there are these 5 grounds for freedom. Before I go forward, I would like to tell you that you might use a different translation so that you may be able to find different words and different terms. But anyway, the meaning should be there. Monks, there are these 5 grounds for freedom, spiritual freedom, by which the unliberated mind of a monk, dwelling heedful, ardent, exertive, find freedom. So those who haven't reached the liberation yet, they can practice these 5 grounds for freedom. So the clear message is that those who haven't worked on liberation yet, or those who haven't reached to liberation yet, these are the 5 things they need to do in order to get into liberation. We cannot say that all 5 should be done, but at least 1 or 2 could be go hand in hand so that everything is going to be completed. Then Buddha explained these 5. The first one is experiencing the Dharma, wisdom through deep listening. Experiencing wisdom or experiencing truth by way of listening. I will tell you this, that listening to inspirational talk gives us knowledge, right? We go to, if I take this example that in the present context, we go to the television and we listen to a 1-hour talks about science, about politics, about economy, about natural disasters, about people. So if we listen to the 1-hour talks mindfully, wisely, we would be able to get some knowledge about the particular thing we hear. It is a normal thing. Likewise, one of the ways that Nibbana is developed, Nibbana is achieved is through listening. So those days in 6th century BC, back in India and elsewhere in the world, people did not have books to write, and people did not have any device to record. Only thing they had was their ears and mind. So their quality of listening was really, really good in those days. Today we are not listening. Our listening capacity has gone down significantly. Even 10-word sentence could not be remembered now. But those days, maybe every word of 5-minute speech would be recorded internally in the mind of all these people, because they use the technique to remember, and their capabilities were there because that was the only method they could remember. So that listening to the Dharma, listening to the truth from somebody is a method of knowing, it's a method of education, it's a method of spiritual gaining. So the Buddha said that experience in Dhamma through deep listening is the first ground for freedom, right? So if I get this example for you, you would understand the points better. How do we get advice from parents from the childhood to now, if you have parents? Do they give us recordings of advice? No. They they said, don't do this, do only this, and go and wash your hand. Remember, these are the things you need to remember. So every time parents tells us, remember, remember. So their way of communication is, giving us verbal advice, and our way of receiving them is listening. So if you look at the world, every time, though they are educated, uneducated people, they were using listening method for learning, right? So how many of us, write write down everything the teacher said in the class? I mean, very less, right? Even because the teacher in a class talking a lot, but the summarized version of what he taught is recorded in the books by a student. So still, even in 21st century, the powerful method of learning is listening. So the Buddha talk about the deep listening here. Um, uh, Here, monks, the teacher, it could be the Buddha or anybody else in the teacher's position. Uh, you know, Teaches the Dharma to a monk. This is how he explained the Dharma. This is how the Buddha explained this point. When the teacher teaches Dharma to a student, this student listen to what the teacher says attentively, mindfully, and of course with some sort of wisdom, like you do now. Okay, so so you listen mindfully and carefully with the participation of wisdom. When you do so, you feels joyfully inspired by the meaning, and feels joyfully inspired by the teaching. So suppose you, when the teacher teaches about dharma, or when the teacher teaches the dharma, the student listen carefully, mindfully, and with some sort of wisdom, so that the student is going to understand what the teachers say, so that the student feels kind of inspirations to learn, kind of eagerness to follow, because you are listening carefully, and so that you understand. When you understand the teacher's statement well, you are giving ear to the teacher more. As a result, feeling joyfully inspired by the meaning, and feeling joyfully inspired by the dharma, you have the gladness could arise in your mind. Gladness. So because suppose you play the role of the teacher, and you tell about your meditation to somebody, then the person who listened to you can understand what you are talking about, so that he or she likes you very much. Now, having heard something something understandable, the person becomes happy, and that happiness is called gladness. It's not a huge deep happiness, but an initial happiness is called gladness. So gladness arises in mind. Then as a result of gladness in mind, piti arises, rapture. So between gladness and rapture, there is a difference. Gladness is an initial sort of happiness, but when we come to rapture, raptur, pt, it means a huge volume of happiness inside you, in your mind, because you got to know the truth. You got to understand the point. And as a result of a rapture, or based on rapture, your mind becomes tranquilized. Tranquility means very clear state of mind. Earlier, your mind was everywhere. It was not focused. It was not disciplined. It was not on the point you wanted. You are not in good position in controlling your mind. But now you gave your ear to the teacher on anything he said, and you understood what the teacher says. Now you keep attention on what the teacher is saying over and over. Therefore, you have gladness. Now, gladness turn into rapture. Now, rapture, because of rapture, now you have tranquility. The Pali word for this is passaddhi, which means your mind has been settling down. These gladness, piti, rapture, and tranquility, we can experience them in our meditation. I will tell you how. Okay, now your mind is tranquility. Example, suppose a kid is crying. We do not know what reason the kid is crying. But what we can do now is take the kid to our hands, and we make the baby like this, like the cradle. Then the baby stops crying, because whatever the reason the baby cry is forgotten by way of moving his body like this. The baby is going to smile and stop crying, and so that's what happened. Likewise, the mind is always busy when it is given so many information through seeing, listening, hearing, and there are 5 doors that information come into our mind: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. These are the 5 senses. So the mind is always busy when information flow into the mind through this channel. But when you meditate, you stop these dose of information into a great extent. You cannot close your eyes. Whatever happen around you hear, but you are not attentive about all these sounds, but your focus is the breath or any other meditation subject. As a result, you feel gladness, and then rapture, then tranquility. So now your mind is not crying. Your mind is not busy, because it has tough wandering nature of your mind. So I got this example of the kid to show that when tranquility is risen in your mind, you are so settled. As a result of this tranquility, happiness arises. Sukha. Happiness is a result of tranquility. We talk about physical tranquility, we talk about mental tranquility. Sometimes our body is so calm and no pain at all. The body is so light, no stress. Do we feel this kind of things in our life, right? Yes. So body doesn't give you any trouble at all. It's not that hot, it's not that cool, but it stays in the middle. No pain in the muscles, no air pressure in the head. Everything is smooth. That kind of feeling is called bodily tranquility, right? If meditation works well for you, if what you mean by meditation works, if your mind is calm and peaceful to the highest level, there you don't feel your body. You feel, if you feel your body, you feel it's very relaxed, very calm. I would give you another example. Suppose you work hard in the hot day outside of the house. Now for hour and so, now you're burn out, your energy and hot, it's sweating, and so now you finish your job outside the house, and you go to washroom and have a cool bath. Okay, now you're hungry. when you come out of the bathroom, the most tastiest food you like has been prepared and arranged on the table. So understand this situation. I'm giving an example. Now you eat as much as you can and drink water. Now you are tired, you are sleepy. So somebody from your family asks you to go to the bedroom, and the bed is prepared with the scents, perfume, and flowers, and all the best pillows are placed there for you. So you will be asked to sleep for hours and hours as much as. When you lie down on that bed, what kind of feeling you will have? Oh, gorgeous, right?
Peace, yeah, happiness.
Yeah, it's very nice feeling because you work so hard and you get you are tired and you eat a lot as much as you can drink. You drink water, and all the lovely words come from the family, and now your body has cooled down. So now you're sleepy. The best bed is prepared for you to sleep, and that happiness over there for you is lesser happiness than this happiness I'm talking about. Because through reflection, through meditation, you get tranquility, and that happiness is much, much greater than the happiness you get out of this sleeping on the bed. So I gave you a kind of comparison, right? So tranquility is like that. And when tranquility arises in mind, happiness arises. When happiness arises, mind is reaching to the highest level of samadhi called concentration. Samadhi is completed. This Pali word samadhi means the one pointedness of your mind, concentration. Mind doesn't go anywhere. Even if you hear a big noise from the front door, from the car, from tree falls and animals, lions and elephants, make sounds. You are not disturbed by that because your mind is concentrated. Even somebody come and uh, you know abuse you by words, you are not worrying about because your mind has found that right tune of peace and happiness. So don't forget the point. The Buddha said here, this is the first ground for freedom. What is the first ground? Listening. So while you listen to a very meaningful Dhamma talk, now you pay attention to it. That attention is not a passive attention, it's a very deep, meaningful attention. You just not only listening words, but you try to find the meaning of what you are listening. As a result, gladness arises, and then gladness arises, rapture arises, then tranquility arises, then happiness arises. All together, you are now lifting yourself into concentration, one pointedness. So this is the first ground, first mentality for you to break through the layers of craving and greed, hatred, and ignorance in your mind. So this is called mental preparedness. So how you achieve samadhi is explained by the Buddha. That's the first one. I'm going to the second one. Teaching the Dharma, now first one is, listening to the Dharma. Now, while you are teaching, you can understand the Dharma. You can achieve the samadhi also. First one, while you are listening, you can develop your mind to the highest of samadhi. Now, the second point is while you are teaching, you can reflect your own teaching. Right? Have you experienced this in your life? Sometime we do lectures, we give talks, public talks for somebody, some people in your profession. I have this experience many times. Sometimes I read suttas for hours and hours, but I did not get that kind of clarity of what I need to explain from the suttas. So I go and sit on the chair, and a lot of people look at me. Then I started telling the facts of the sutta one after the other. I feel that I am doing it better than before. While I was reading, I did not get some points of explanation. But while I am teaching, I make sense that I'm understanding it well, because of two reasons. Teaching is a method of learning, right? Teaching is a method of learning more. While you are reading something, you lose points because your concentration might go here and there and so on. So now you pick some points from your reading, and now you are going to teach it to somebody. You are going to tell it to somebody. While you are doing that act of teaching, you better clear the points you were not having it before. So that's a kind of examples I gave. The second point to reach to liberation is your teaching. First one, listening. So in the first case, you are a student. In the second case, you are the teacher. So while you are teaching, suppose you have the sutta now, right? So you read it and you ask one of your friends to come and listen to what I want to tell something, please listen to me. So while you are teaching it to other person, you understand it better before than you listen to somebody and understand. So that is the secret. Let me tell you this. Um, uh, he himself teaches the Dharma in details to others, just as he has heard it, just as he has mastered it in theory, in this and that way. Monks, just as the monk teaches the Dharma in details to others, just as he has heard it, just as he has mastered it in theory, in whatever way, in that state, he feels joyfully inspired by the meaning, feels joyfully inspired by the Dharma. Therefore, uh, gladness arises in mind, because if I understood that I clear my mind by teaching, kind of gladness arises in my mind. I'm happy because it is working well. And if this gladness, if my teaching and understanding the things going better and better, gladness could lead to arise. Gladness could be the basis for rapture to arise. And rapture, when I do it over and over, rapture might give rise to tranquility to arise, and tranquility help happiness to arise, and then concentration, one pointedness is there. Simply this second fact tells us that while teaching you can concentrate, while teaching you can find that peace and happiness.
Yes, I think when you're teaching, you are more concentrated.
Yeah.
That's how you learn better.
Yes.
But when you are reading yourself separate, you are one only, so you don't have that concentration as much as you are in front of 100 people.
Yeah.
Or 20 people. So your concentration is more than what you are saying, and that's how you learn more.
Yeah.
I guess because of more concentration in teaching.
That's right. So teaching is a very powerful method of getting that learning. As I said, many times in my life, I experienced that certain things clear to me while I'm teaching. Because while reading alone, the point was not clear. But when I started teaching, things cleared, and I could also connect it to something else which is important. But passive reading, no words but only mind read, it doesn't work sometimes. So that is the second ways to get freedom. So these are the external sources still, right? So when I listen to a teacher, I listen to it from outside. No, the teacher's explanation are outside sources. So I depend on outside sources and listen and get the point and direct my mind to peace and happiness. Now I am teaching. I am listening to my own teaching. I am listening to what others' reaction and what others say, so that now with based on that, I could train my mind to be in peace and happiness. If we go to the third point, it is called furthermore, monks, he himself recite the Dharma in details to others, just as he has heard it, just as he has mastered it in theory. Because with this way, so now the third point is chanting. Chanting, singing.
Yeah.
When you do chanting and when you listen to chanting, your mind is really going away from it. If chanting is beautifully done, a lot of people can make the connection. That's why a lot of people like music, singing. I think the language is not a matter. If there are beautifully spell the letters, I think all of us can get that right tune. So a lot of people listen to songs that they never learn a word of it, but they like the sound, music, because sound waves always make your mind calm. Sometimes there are sound waves that make you angry, hate music, right? So if the volume of the music is too high, quickly change, and then people might get negative feeling. There are sounds that make people sad a lot. You don't need to know the language, but the music of the particular culture can make you cry, right? Some music are there that calm down your mind. So if you go to YouTube and search music for calming down your mind, particularly meditation, you listen to, you feel sleepy. So many people in the Western world where meditation is highly emphasized know the monastery, Bhavana Monastery in West Virginia. So they started, I think, around 40 years ago. When they started the Bhavana Monastery in West Virginia, the next door person didn't like the meditation. And the one who started the meditation, the founder, is a monk. He is still living, and 98 years old by this December. So in his 50s, he started this place. Yeah, the next door people were so angry about it. So what the next door was doing when the meditation program for 7 days, 10 days go, uh, they played hate music, huge music. But the monk and also the other people understood that the next door person doesn't like us, so that they didn't care very much. They After few years, he got sick, and then only he understood that his mistake. And now for several years now, they haven't been doing anything wrong for them, because the father who got angry with the monastery passed away, and the children followed the father's footprint little bit, but they are more educated now. They stop hating the monastery next door. So what I'm saying is that we can use chanting, singing, any sort of that methodical, chanting to make people angry. If the intention is really bad in your mind, you can use singing for making bad things happen, right? There are experiments done by scientists that they do some chanting, keeping the water glasses in front of them, and this the structure of this water has changed from negative to positive because of the beautiful chanting. So if you keep compassion and kindness, joy and happiness in mind while you are chanting, the power is so much. You in each religion we have this that we go to sick people and do chanting, because when you are sick, your mind is down because of the physical pain. So you need external support, such as religious or spiritual or cultural, for you to take your mind out of that suffering. So spiritual chanting has worked a lot. Basically, spiritual chanting is about the Almighty God, the messengers, saints, and divine. And in Buddhism, it's all about the Buddha and his teaching and what you can get out of good practices and so on. When you chant them over and over, maintaining a very peaceful, volume, the healing could happen. So this is talking about chanting. So while we are doing chanting, you can concentrate that wave like differences of your volume, so that your mind stop wandering here and there but stays with the chanting, right? But don't meditate with some music all the time, because then at some point you could not meditate without music, because your mind get used to it. Meditation should be done bare, without any sound, but some meditation methods are recommended doing with some music. It's a later addition, but originally meditation could be done through passive bare advice, so that your mind is getting away from disturbances. So the third point is chanting, and while chanting, if chanting works for you, you feel that gladness in mind, and when you continue chanting, listening to chanting, so you feel glad, not only gladness but rapture. Advanced level of happiness is rapture. Initial level of happiness is gladness. It goes into rapture also. As a result of rapture, you feel tranquility. Now your mind and body both, reciprocate. As a result, you feel happiness, and there your mind has stopped wandering at all. It stays here. So the third way of finding freedom is chanting, listening to chanting. Now we go to the fourth one, that is wise thinking, reflection. You don't do listening to Dharma, first one. You don't, teach. You don't chant, but you do reflection. No, you sit somewhere in a quiet place and think about how this happened. What kind of things caused for this to arise in my mind? How I became angry at that moment when I listened to that. So you find out reasons why this happened, how this happened. If I need happiness, are these the thing I should do? If I want happiness, what kind of things I should stop in my life, and what kind of things I should do? So to say, you find out all the reasons, solutions, problems, and everything on the path to peace and happiness. So basically, this is called wise thinking. So thinking without, even if you don't do the first one, second one, and third one, now you are doing only the fourth one, it could help you arise gladness. Because of wise thinking, you find out answers for various problems. Therefore, you find that gladness in mind, and when you continue to do so, gladness could advance to rapture, and rapture could give birth to tranquility, and tranquility could give birth to sukha, happiness, and now you are in samadhi, concentration. So sometime in meditation we do this. Not only we look at the breath for all the time, but we analyze what is coming in, what is mind is, and how the body is going on and on like this, and sort of things are taken into our consideration, and think over and over on these factors, so that your mind gets that clarity, right? It's like you go to the backyard garden in the at the beginning of the summer. Now you want to clear the ground for new cultivation, so you cut all the weeds from the bottom, and now you take kind of tools to dig the ground, and you remove even the roots of those dead weed, and now we prepare the ground. So now you think that this is how you should plant seed, and this is how you should make the nursery, and water is coming in this way. So you have a whole plan in your mind. So, right? So as a result, you perfectly do all the preparation for for vegetable or flower plants, and at some point you get the result. So likewise, when you come to a point that I should attain peace and happiness, so what way you now think about each and every important things you need to do. You realize that these are the things you should not do now. If you wish to attain enlightenment, these are the ways I should live, so that I will be going towards peace and happiness at some point of my life. That kind of results could be gained through wise thinking, right? So the last one of the five is meditation. So remember the title, we are talking about 5 avenues of freedom from suffering. Freedom from suffering could be gained not only one way, but there are 5 ways. You can practice any of these ways, even 5, even 4, even 3, even 2, at least 1. Right? What are the 5 ways to liberation? First, listening. Second, teaching. Third one, chanting or listening to chanting. And the fourth one, wise thinking or reflection. And the last one is meditation. So meditation is about widening your mind to the truth, opening your mind to the truth. In that, we use the meditative object for some time, and then having taken the wandering mind into a peaceful state, we leave the meditation subject little bit on the back of your mind and focus what you have gained through. That's how then you look at your happy mind, then you look at your peaceful mind, disciplined mind. There you have the path to go forward. So meditation is therefore not creating fantasies in mind, not creating any, it's not a dreaming too. It is a perfect mindfulness, awareness of everything happens in your mind. Whether it is bad or negative, you become aware. That's called meditation. First sign of meditation is becoming aware of what is happening in the mind, what is happening in the body, what is happening around. So that is because awareness is the first milestone of meditation. So now we know there are not only one way to go to freedom of suffering, there are 5 ways. First one, listening to the inspirational talks, and there you get the meaning and the truth of it. Then mind become happy in a gradual way and attain concentration. And then the second one is teaching. So while you are teaching, you would be able to take your mind into these wonderful status of samadhi. And the third one is chanting or listening to chanting. So while you are listening to chanting, you have the opportunity to bring your mind into that peaceful state of mind called samadhi. And the fourth one is wise thinking. You do not even use a word. You do not listen. You do not listen to somebody. You do not chant, or you do not listen to chanting, but you as an individual, think about what is going on in the mind based on right principle, because people can think without principles, right? Then you become a lunatic. For us to think rightly, we need some points of thinking. So then your mind becomes happy and you reach samadhi. And the last one, many people have heard about this, that is meditation. Meditation is a way to freedom from suffering. So there are meditation, we talk about two types of meditation. What are the two types of meditation? Samatha meditation is called concentration meditation is there as the first one. And the second one is vipassana meditation. Vipassana means addressing the, it's called insight meditation, but basically what you see in insight meditation is the fundamentals of mind and body, right? So these are the two types of meditation, and when we do breathing meditation, both aspects could come together, because at the beginning of breathing meditation, we recognize in-breath and out-breath, we label it as so. Then when the mind get used to it, when the mind has stopped wandering, we can understand the breath as air elements. So, and we, the person called I, is conventionally I, but from the absolute truth, it is only a collection of bones, muscles, skin, teeth, nails, and other bodily organs. That's called absolute truth. So meditation is the fifth one for liberation. And the every time and anytime you follow one of the ways, the things you need to do is to very mindful listening, very mindful thinking, very mindful chanting. So you have to have right mindfulness with the act you do and apply wisdom into it. Then only you become happy about it, about what you do. Otherwise, it's pointless. Okay, let's see whether our friends who joined through Zoom have questions about anything we say. If you are interested in anything about Vimuttayatana Sutta, the sutta that talks about the ways of liberation, please unmute and talk.
Vandami Bhante, Smita here.
Yes.
Is there any particular importance addressed to any of the method by the Buddha, or all five methods considered like equally of same value?
I think a very good question. Each five methods are valuable, but depending on personal, skills, uh, you don't need to follow some methods. Like, I have found that some people don't like chanting. That is not matching for them because of their characteristic feature. There are characters who always wants to question things. So these people need some, questioning, wise thinking. They should be supported by analytical thinking. So their thinking should be directed to find peace and happiness, because, as I said earlier, you should have some principles in the teaching to think. Otherwise, you think here and there, and thinking may not be working well for you. You have to have some guidelines for wise thinking. So yes, uh, the Buddha considered all the disciples' nature in explaining these 5 methods of freedom. But I can see that a lot of people get into the first stage of enlightenment by listening, the first one. Because when you listen to a Dhamma talk which is well planned, well addressed, you understand things better. As a listener, you get a lot of things. As a listener, you not only listen to, but at the same time, you store the knowledge of it. You compare the things in the lecture with your own experience and figure out, oh, this is how it happened. In counseling, in general counseling, the counselor gives you some tips of overcoming your worry, and let's say that if you want to find basic peace and happiness and work properly, you better go to sleep early and wake up early in the morning. Then you are fresh. So you have slept enough. Then your speech, your conversation with the family members would be good because you have sleep enough and woke up now. And before you, so I have heard that some counselors in giving counseling to students in a school basis have given this kind of advice. Then they find that right tune of happiness, right? So basically, listening carefully and applying these points of good conduct in life would be a good and very speedy way to find freedom. If you look at the Buddha's instruction, he gave instruction for 100 people together, basically monks and nuns, and they went to forests and found trees and meditate based on the Buddha's advice. First, they listened carefully and kept them in mind without changing, and then they found out silent places, and they were able to train their mind on the basis of those advices, so that they got through to enlighten. Earlier, they were not doing well. There were some monks who were instructed by different high rank monks, but these monks were not be able to see any progress in their meditation. So then the Buddha intervened and explained some Dhamma. They were listening carefully, and of course the teaching the Buddha taught is incomparable to other high rank monk. So anyway, what was doing there is that monk listened carefully, and the barriers of listening carefully were also gone while he was paying attention to the Buddha, so that he was able to get through to enlightenment. So that according to your question, I think all are valid. Some people do not want to follow everything. One is could be able to know, because each one takes you into concentration. But if you follow the first one, if you do it right, so you could find that peace and happiness through listening and through teaching. I think second point is really happening, because many times students get the points while they listen, not while they teaching, because number of the teachers are less than students. So that even in today's context, this is like professor is teaching the class, and while he is teaching, he understood things better. Earlier, he did not get the point, but right now, you get the point. For example, suppose I talk about the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. So while I'm teaching to a group of students, I find better ways to tell it. And I find really this discussion is really interesting. And perhaps I didn't feel these things before, but while I'm teaching, I feel it. Because of that, my mind is calming down and getting that right of samadhi. So I think look at the fifth one, meditation. Look at the fourth one, wise thinking. They are very powerful. They are very powerful. A lot of people can do this, but you know what? I have found out that some characters never do the wise thinking. They always like to do chanting and various type of loud, uh, you know, music plus chanting and so on. They always rely on these things. Temporarily, they become happy that they did something, but they are not able to stop the flow of unwholesomeness in their mind. Those who have attached to rituals only in Buddhism might get angry, might get upset easily. Of course, until we attain to the at least first stage of enlightenment, we might cry for various things. But when you have too much attachment to something simple, a lot of things are going to miss from you because you have attached to one thing, thinking that it is the everything. So anyway, thank you very much for your very wise question, because there are these 5 ways of looking for freedom, and yes, are these 5 things were valid for one person, or is it for everyone? Yes, it is for everyone. When the Buddha explained Dhamma, it could reach to all kinds of characters. That's why Buddha tell this to monks, and of course the monks who were listening over there may not be able to follow everything, but 1 or 2 things could work for us always.
Venerable sir, shall I ask a question?
Yes.
Now, wise thinking and anupassana and vipassana has any connection?
It's a very good question. So anupassana, there are 2 Pali terms in suttas. One is anupassana and vipassana. Anupassana means seeing things as they happen, right? So you now sit down, and when you stand up, you know beforehand that you are going to stand up, and now you feel yourself standing. You see the movements of standing of your body. So that is called anupassana. When things happen, you understand accordingly. That's the simple meaning of anupassana. Vipassana means seeing something not visible. Of course, I see this. I see this one. This is called mobile phone, right? That's the name given to this one. And I would explain this further, that there is a cover for the phone, screen protection, and it has light, it has numbers. So these are also labels. What is exactly this phone is, if you talk about based on absolute truth, is solidity, cohesion, heat, and air. The fundamental physical structure of this phone is solidity, cohesion, heat, and air. Every material things start from these collection of elements, right? So if I do vipassana, so I am talking about those fundamentals of every construction. Every material and immaterial things has a beginning, and how these things began, and talking about that, understanding about that is called vipassana. It is that's called vipassana. But anupassana means understanding things as they arise, as they happen, as they come into exist. So with wise thinking, we should have both, because some people cannot go to vipassana, the understanding the basis of everything directly because it is deep. So that in terms of practicing wise thinking, we have to first practice anupassana, seeing things as they arise. Then you, of course, get into vipassana then and there, because when you see things as they happen, as they arise, as they start, as they exist, you can say, okay, there in that I see only fundamental structures. If you look at a human, okay, this lady, this lady is made up of solidity, cohesion, and heat and air. Only thing I should get it. So then you do not either attach to this lady or fight with this lady, because you see the lady as only elements.
So
Suppose
Venerable sir, that means wise thinking can lead to vipassana.
of course, wise thinking start from the minimum. Wise thinking start from basic steps of thinking, and it could lead to vipassana. That's why we have three kinds of wisdom. Chintame panya, Suttame panya, Chintame panya, and Bhavaname panya. There are three kinds of wisdom. First wisdom is wisdom through listening. So when we listen to various things, we illuminate our mind with some theories and practical examples. We, of course, feel it right because we have experienced it before. Something like that could happen to us. Suttame panya, wisdom through listening. And the second type of wisdom is wisdom through thinking, wise thinking. So you compare certain things in your mind, whether this could happen. Suppose somebody tells you now over the phone that, do you know what? Outside is too hot, around 70 degrees. Now you think, how could this happen? Because when I came inside of the building, it was around 10, 10 Celsius. But how could it turn to 70 Celsius in about 1 hour or so? You now use your wise thinking. Don't take the example too serious. But what I pointed is, right thinking, wise thinking is being done by the individual at any time, so that your mind goes to absolute truth, vipassana. Because the right thinking and wise thinking, right thinking is going to be wise thinking if we have the right intention in the mind.
Sadhu, sadhu. Teruvan saranai.
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions. One, I think with reference to the first question, for me, the preference is the meditation out of all five because the way I see the other four are a kind of meditation. Like when you're teaching, it's concentrate. When you are listening, you're attending. So when you are, the third one was chanting.
Yeah.
Again, you are paying, some kind of concentration. And then until the end that you go to meditation. So those are serving actually the meditation. So to me, the preference is meditation.
Exactly. Yeah. Wonderful.
The second question that I was going to ask was the service without condition. Serving without condition is also goes in that one of these ones could be a kind of that it gives you the same quality.
Yeah.
It raptures your mind, it gives you empowerment, it raptures your mind, and then you go into a bliss.
Yeah. I agree. Yes. Yeah, indeed.
Servicing without serve.
Yeah.
Serving is also very
Serving like
that
what?
matter.
I mean, if
Like the one that you
yes.
serving without any condition. Like
Yeah,
the one
indeed.
that you give.
It's called charity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. charity, giving some food, giving some time for others, talking to somebody with to make the person happy, and so all these practices are giving you bliss. Of course, yes. That's why we talk about right speech. Our speech, our words should not be harming anyone else, right? Serving food, serving knowledge, and then volunteering, whatever, yeah, whatever action that develops your compassion is giving you bliss. Indeed, very nice. So as you said at the beginning of this conversation, yes, all the five connect each other, can connect each other, because suppose you start writing on the fourth one, wise thinking. So you listen, because wise thinking is not coming alone for you. As soon as we come to this world, wise thinking doesn't start, because we have to listen to parents, we have to study, we have to live in this society. So after listening so many things, we are now qualified for wise thinking. Otherwise, you cannot do thinking. And then while you are listening to a chanting, how could you think wisely if you do not know what their chanting is for, right? So wise thinking, for example, should be there for each and every, even in meditation. Somebody asks you to meditate and you meditate without knowing anything, which is not right. So you should know the purpose of meditation. What I'm looking for with meditation, I'm looking for peace and happiness. My mind is not now good. It's all over. So I should meditate. I should focus. So there is a purpose of meditation. It comes to you because of wise thinking. So all the five are intertwined, interconnected, but there is a prominent way of doing things. One would be prominent for you. So as you said, meditation is more working and suitable for you, which is right, because you have listened to, you have thought about it, you have a kind of reflection on what you are doing, so that now you know how to concentrate. You see that the mind is the biggest thing to understand, so now you take time to do so. So meditation is going to be successful just because of your wise thinking.
Also, my experience is that when I chant before meditation, my meditation would be stronger.
Yeah. Yes. It's like it's like you prepare for your meditation with some sound, some chanting, because then earlier your mind is going here and there, but through chanting you take into control. It's just like, suppose there is a wild cow, right? So how do you tame a wild cow? You have to first catch the wild cow by a rope, and the cow is still, dragging and trying to jump and go. So you hold it hard. So now you tie the other end of the rope to a tree. Now the cow is going around the tree. At some point, the cow is stuck because the rope is going to coil or around the tree. Now the cow is tired and the cow cannot go anywhere. Now the rope has shortened because of the coil, and the cow is going to tame. Now you command the cow, get out of here, then the cow is going. So likewise, first your mind is busy, not directed at all. You try your best to keep it here, it doesn't work. But through chanting, not only one day, few days, few months, few years, so now your mind is listening to these instructions very quickly, and now you sit. In the second minute, you are in deep concentration. So it's a matter of practice.
I find lately my mind starts thinking fantasies all over the place. So what I'll do is I'll start deep breathing and I'll count, and I'll go 1, 2, 3, you see? And when I did that, the concentration stops the fantasies, you know?
Yeah. The garland you have is something people use sometimes.
Yeah.
They just
Kind of meditation.
yeah.
I use it like this. I do this
Yeah.
and I say boo do, and I sing. So I go boo do boo do boo do boo do boo do, and I do that
Yeah.
for about
Do you see that what happened to your mind there? Your mind has no any space to go and think something else when you do this. That's the secret of concentration. That's why people sit in front of fish tank and look at the fish. And when we gaze at the fish which swim very slowly and nicely, we gaze the fish for certain let's say 1 minute. Now we close the eyes. Now we can see the fish is swimming very nicely, slowly. Now our mind is with the fish in the tank. Fish in the tank is doing whatever the fish wants, but in our mind there is a fish, and that fish is slowly, calmly swimming here and there. Earlier our mind was everywhere. Now mind has tied to the fish in the mind. The mind has a fish, right? Remember your home now. So both of you have come to temple with closed eyes. Think about the best place in your home. Now it is in your mind, right? Likewise, our mind, so our mind can get an idea, and we can ask the mind to stay with that particular idea for a long time. As a result, your body is relaxing, because when the mind stops wandering, the body gets that calmness.
and we stop striving.
Yeah.
We stop desiring. So it brings us peace and
Yeah.
tranquility.
Yeah. And when breathing or any other meditation is done, what happened to us? Our mind calms down slowly, gradually, and it goes to deeper concentration. And the breath is going also into a very calm and peaceful state of function, so that you don't need much oxygen for the body, because your mind has stopped wandering, so that the body doesn't need so much oxygen, so that you can stay alive in even a cage where there is no oxygen. Remember that story of about 30 young students in Thailand? I think it happened some years ago. They went to it's a football team, about 15, between 15 to 18 years old, young boy football team. They went to a beach area, and they went to a huge cave. Uh, it happens when the low tide of the sea. Now, when they were there, about I think about 30 or 40 minutes, the water came up and the way out of the cage is closed. Now they could not get out of it. So this young group of footballers, along with the trainer, did some meditation before. So the instructor, so they had given a message through their cell phone to a school or somewhere, and now the helpers are coming. They are on the way, but at the same time they were meditating, breathing meditation. So somehow they were able to hold on to without any problem, and everyone escaped from. It's a story how a person can exist in a low oxygen place because of the breathing exercise they have done. So you survive with minimum oxygen, minimum energy, because you have calmed down your mind. It's like So the gas, you suppose you use the gas for cooking. So you give little gas and put the water on water span on it, and after some time you get the, suppose you increase the gas, it happened at once, but you burn a lot of gas. Likewise, you burn little energy, but you work out is 100%. So there are many such examples to tell, but it's not the time. I guess it's 9:15 now. So remember, there are 5 ways to get into freedom. These 5 ways talk about the initial practice, but at some point, suppose you get the first one, but you have to merge into others at some point of your training. So these are the initial practices. First one, listening. Second one, teaching. Third one, chanting. And then the fourth one, wise thinking. And the fifth one is meditation. So understand the Sutta very well and think about from your own experience, and at least practice meditation. What, as he said, when we practice meditation, of course, we have done the other things as well. So that is all for today. Thank you for coming and participating in the discussion meaningfully. Wish you all the best for your practice, and I wish, by the power of this knowledge, by the power of this spiritual energy you all share here, may we all attain nirvana, the enlightenment and peace right now. Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, thank you, Bante,
Yeah.
and everyone.
Sadhu, Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Bante.